Welcome back. I am your friendly neighborhood board gamer, Devin, and this is Devin Talks Tabletop, a YouTube series where the games are made up and what I say doesn't matter. I am feeling better than I was for the last 4 videos, which was when I was sick. I'm still a little sick, but I'm getting better. I'm on the mend. I have recovered somewhat. It always helps to shave, shower, get dressed up, go do work, because then it's like you kind of are starting to, your brain is lifting yourself out of that fog and your body begrudgingly has to come along. So my body is begrudgingly here and I am opening the Shadow Planet. So this is, I think, my second Kickstarter delivery ever, and it actually delivered quite fast compared to some games out there. And I'm excited about this not because it was a runaway campaign. It was a successful campaign that funded, but it was just, to me, the games like this are the reason why crowdfunding is so special. Yeah, you get your big campaigns that make millions of dollars and you get these awesome games, lots of miniatures, really cool experience, but you're also able to fund the success of more indie or creative titles like this that might not exist within the regular retail distribution chain. So this is from Galacta, which I think this is based in Poland. I think this publisher and this campaign was based out of Poland. And it came in last night, and I kind of remember getting a notification that games would start shipping, but I didn't get a notification of hey, this game is out the door, it's being delivered, and here's your tracking info. I don't think I got that. So this was a welcome surprise yesterday. So I've opened it up. We shall rip off the plastic skin. Timestamp for all you old fans out there, fans of the stamp, fans of the timestamp. So the Shadow Planet, the board game, I believe, I might be wrong on this, I think that this was a graphic novel that was created and then a board game was based around it. Because you could get a graphic novel in the campaign. I don't believe it was a graphic novel that was created around the campaign. So here is a breakdown of the game. Shadow Planet, the board game. Kickstarter, stretch goals, and add-ons. Before we write anything more, we wish to express our utmost gratitude in the name of Galactica, Sir Chester Cobblepot, and the Blasteroid Bros for your support of the project. This is a very unique game in both its artwork and rules. And the artwork and some of the style of the rules is why I was intrigued by this and why I ultimately backed it, even though it was a smaller campaign, much smaller than a lot of the other ones I've backed. It successfully funded, but it didn't, break several thousand $100s of stuff. I think it was under $100,000 in funding. So this has got some alternative objective cards, alternative character cards, and then it's got some 3D cardboard vehicles, I believe, that I've got in here. And it's got a expansion. And then it's possible that there is a graphic novel in here. I don't think I backed that. I think you had the option of adding it, and I don't think I did to my pledge. Got your rule book here, which kind of shows you what was on the main cover. So to just give you a breakdown of this, the Shadow Planet marks the great return of science fiction with planet in the title. I don't actually think that was the summary I was looking for. Here's the idea or goal of the game. Someone killed Mark, the pilot, and severely damaged the shuttle commands. So we've got a traitor in our midst. In order to return to the Vidar, the spaceship waiting in orbit, the characters, each with a different goal, have to repair Melita. Time is limited, only 12 hours, then the Vidar will leave for the next rendezvous point. You've got characters with different competing objectives, and it's kind of like a mystery, interesting scenario going on. These, I believe, are these just, oh wow, cool. These are really nice, thick material. It's got strategy tips on the back, and then it's got your player area right there. So we've got those. We've got the 3D vehicles, which maybe I'll build on here for you. maybe I'll just do that as the outro. I'll build the vehicle. So it's a game for 3 to 5 players. It seemed like it had a really interesting like interplay between what the players will do with each other each round. And then the artwork was just kind of beautiful. It's a little visually messy probably for some people, but I was just really captured by it. In the same way that I think mind management is awesome, and some people think the mind management board is very messy, but I liked it a lot. So I think this is how it looks. And it's got 3 spots on the board for dials that you'll, add on. But I'm a big fan of graphic novels. I'm not like a comic fanatic. I like very particular art styles, and I really do love those as stories. But I'm somewhat picky about what I do. So like this art really, really spoke to me. I liked it a lot. And it probably like the visual aspect and kind of like the world building element there was a major factor in my decision to back this. One of the other things I liked is that a lot of Kickstarter campaigns, they get very much fixated on the kind of certain deluxe components that are expected to be a part of campaigns. And I think there were people that were upset that you didn't have either standees or miniatures. But I just really like these. I think like they went ahead and they went with these busts, these character busts. So it cuts off at the arms, cuts off at the waist. But you're able to get like a lot of detail and like visual uniqueness to the characters. Like this is a robot, thin neck, kind of bulky face plating. And then, kind of like a more demure or, refined, just kind of like undergarment clothes look, kind of like a sleeveless tank top. And then you've got these kind of like characters that have more steampunky or sci-fi, kind of like Fallout-esque design aesthetic. I just like those character busts. I think that it presents an opportunity to make the characters really unique, and it's also a nice physical addition to the game that doesn't have to be oodles and oodles of miniatures. So really cool board setup there. I've got to inlay those pieces at some point. And I've got the little tabs that I've got there, and then I've got the cards. And I think a lot of people are moving to this format where, for the sake of either production cost or environmental considerations, they're not doing shrink-wrapped card decks anymore. They're just doing the card decks and then sleeving them with like a paper sleeve, which I don't really mind at all. I've got a lot of baggies at my house, so I can just utilize them if I feel like this needs baggies. But yeah, and all those cards seem to kind of slot in right there. And then I've got these, which seem to be the alternate objective and character cards that come with it. But I'm just really excited to check this out. I think it is, I love when artwork is like simplistic, but also like very visually striking. Like, you just got that black with that white background, and then you've got this big red moon or planet. And like, that's visually satisfying to me. So then you've got all the character tokens here, and then you've got these pieces that are going to fit onto the board, which I do wonder, they will fit onto the outside folded, so they're not going to be folded inside, which, makes sense. I guess they thought of that, but definitely, and it looks like they've got inset pieces for the cardboard construction there, which I like, and I guess all the other tokens will just slot into that box. Not like it won't, the insert's not going to blow your mind, but the insert appropriately has space for the things that you want, which is more than you can say for some inserts. It does seem like there's going to be maybe a little bit of a bulge on the inside just because of that thin plastic part of these dial add-ons. I don't know if I did this around the same time that I did 6 Siege. There was a period of time where it was like a month or two where it was just a lot of board stuff, or a lot of board game purchases happened at the same time. So let's see. Threat goes on. Yes, so this is the threat, which is what I thought. I thought that was going to be the threat, the intense, alien, weird, crazy visual thing. I think we're going to go. I don't know if you're going to want to watch this part. I'll do this later, because I don't think you're going to want to watch it. I don't know if I would want to watch it. Specifically, son of a gun. I'm going to use other words. I promise one of these days I'm going to use other words. There are plenty of other words that I say repeatedly, but for some reason that one bothers me. For some reason. Let's see. What are we doing here? Let's read the preface. Gliese 667 is a hostile planet. The first time you spend a couple of hours on its surface. Playing your first game of the Shadow Planet, you will experience an identity crisis. You will have a clear goal, but you will not know who you are until the end. Oh, I think that's part of what it is. It's like you don't know, like you can control all the characters, but you don't necessarily know which one you are, which I thought was an interesting move. Don't worry, everything will become clear after a few playthroughs. The rules aren't difficult, but you have to learn how each choice has a whole series of consequences leading to matching the identities, which is decisive for the outcome, making each game a tactically immersed and intriguing strategic experience. The Shadow Planet has an innovative rule set where the goal is known, but your identity is a secret even to you. To master it, you must be aware that your choices continuously interact not only with the characters and your opponents, but also with yourself. The challenge is to mislead the other players, trying to understand their goals and push them towards unfavorable gear decks. And avoid making mistakes. Having played a few times, you will start to strategically manage cards and effects in an efficient way, knowing how every choice entails important consequences. You could say the Shadow Planet is kind of an old school, designed to be played over and over again and to bring mastery to the players. Play all the roles linked to different emotions, and try every tactic to enjoy the Shadow Planet experience to the fullest. So it just felt different. It just sounded like a unique opportunity to explore what was going on. And that was cool. That is definitely why I wanted to jump into this. And I liked some of the choices they were making. I liked that you could get these busts instead of miniatures. There weren't even miniatures to pick from. You know, I may end up doing that, but I think that the coolest thing I could do, other than shut up and stop doing this to where you didn't have to suffer through me. So I thought this looked like a graphic novel, based on a graphic novel. The thing that I can do is I can tell you about graphic novels that I like, which makes sense because Saga has just started back up, which is, I think, one of the best graphic novels there is. It is so good. And I know that there are already like 2 or 3 issues, like small comic issues out. I think there's at least 2 out. But I don't read them that way. I don't read them in the smaller portions. I wait until you can purchase like a 5 or 6 issue volume, and then I buy those. So like currently, there might be 50 or 60 issues that are out there for Saga right now. But I only have 9 volumes that took me all the way up to the break that they took. Because the creators, the artist and the writer, I think it's Matthew Vaughn is the like creator of the comics. He's the one who like writes the story. And he has done stuff like Why the Last Man, which was recently a TV show that just got canceled. I haven't watched it, but Why the Last Man is also really good. But, I'm going to have to get that. That's going to bother me that sits down there. There we go. Matthew Vaughn was the creator of it. And then Fiona Staples was the illustrator. She's the one who's responsible for the absolutely beautiful world that is there. And that makes me so happy that it's back. They needed a creative break. Totally understand that. And now that break is done, and they are ready to keep going again, which is super cool. So I'm very much excited that is back, because it's just that I won't be able to partake in the awesomeness yet. Because, focusing on this and talking, not the hardest. Yeah, I won't be able to appreciate it just yet because they've got... Yes, there we go. They've got several more issues to come out with before the full volume comes out. So, gotta deal with that first. But that's not too bad. I'm patient. I can wait. I'm just really excited that it's out. So, Saga, really good graphic novel if you're into that kind of stuff. I'm assuming that's what it's supposed to look like. Cool beans. Boom. That one's done. Yeah, so Saga's a really good one. Let's see, what are other good ones? Preacher's really good. That's by Garth Ennis and somebody else who I can't remember right now. Preacher's really solid. Swamp Thing by Alan Moore, that's a good one. V for Vendetta and Watchmen are two classic ones. Those are both good. Again, I'm not like big into like the superhero comics, but there are some superhero graphic novels or superhero comic runs that I appreciated. Superman Red Sun is good. It kind of goes into the concept of, hey, what happens if Superman came to Earth 13 minutes later? The trajectory of where he would have landed would have been in the Soviet Union. Obviously, Superman would have a very much like different upbringing if he grew up during Soviet Russia, or if like that's where he was. Is there a place that tells you how to build these? Because I've absolutely, that one looks like I did it right. That does not look like it. Well, that part looks like I did it right. But that one, I don't know how I could have done it any differently. I think I did it right, but it looks not the exact same. Anyways, now I just got to see what this is supposed to look like. Oh, okay. There we go. I'm figuring it out moment by moment, piece by piece. Red Sun is really good. Like that one a lot. There we go. I built it. Look at me, I built something. I'm going to do this too and fumble my way through this. Super duper cut it. He's going to super cut it. He's going to super duper cut it. How many times can I say that? Super duper cut it. There we go. I super duper cut it. How many times is he going to say that? He's going to keep saying it. He's going to super duper cut it. You ever get to that point where you're like, I'm going to film a video, and then you just like fade on energy so hard? I'm fading on energy. But you know what? I've built a board. And now, before I end this, I'm going to punch all this stuff out. Maybe I'm going to do more editing on this just so you can blaze through it. Are you still with me? Because you've seen me learn how to edit some stuff. Because I've cut things. And I've fast forwarded things. I've learned things. And you've learned with me. Aren't we better for it? Aren't we all better for the things that I've learned? I think we are. Because I've wasted less of your time. And you see, that's going to always sit now at a weird angle because of those dials. But I'm okay with that. I'm going to keep these on here. I'm going to explore that later. But you know what? At the end of the day, even if you start off with good intentions and you flail and you fumble and you get tired along the way, you can always follow through with those good intentions. This is the Shadow Planet. I'm Devin. This is Devin Talks Tabletop. This is a send-off timestamp. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.